Hey there, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Jamie, and we're your co-hosts for Two Clicks in a Pod.
Join us as we explore our missed times, stories, and memories due to divorce and 1,000-mile separation.
I can't wait. You ready to get into it, Kev?
I am. Hey, Jamie, you think they're going to swear?
Oh, yeah. Consider yourselves warned. It's all good. What? It's all good.
Have you, you haven't found this show called The Road, have you? Have I told you about The Road?
No, tell me about The Road.
Well, it's Keith Urban on the Road series that's gone on for 8 weeks. Finals go on next week, 9th week. But it started out with about, 15, maybe, well, wait a minute. There was probably two groups of 8, if I remember right. And they're young songwriters and artists that, come from all over. A lot of them obviously live in Nashville, in the Nashville area, but it's called On the Road. Blake Shelton was a part of it up front. And they started out in Fort Worth on the first show, to where these people, they come on and they generally will do 2 songs. They'll do an original that they've written, and then they do a cover. And so they've gone from Fort Worth, and then they went up to Oklahoma City and then Tulsa. They've had 8 stops along the way of just competing, and at the end of each episode, one of them gets voted off, and they're traveling by tour bus, and maybe there was only 12 of them, I don't know, but it's just gone on and gone on. And so the semifinals are actually the final 4 were in the competition this week, which it airs on Sunday, so we watched it last night and when we got home. But it's been a good show. There's a girl on there. I think her name's Chrissy, or anyway, she's got red hair. She reminds me a lot of, her personality reminds me of Kelsey. And anyway, I think you'd really enjoy it. But good show of just artist against artist, and they're from all over, from Arizona to Texas to Louisiana. And the 3 that made it through, the last girl of the 4 that got cut, she was from Arizona. She was a 40-year-old woman that's married and got kids. But this one that reminds me of Kelsey, man, she is just strong. She's got the best voice.
A strong contender.
Yeah, big old. Yeah, she's just strong and kind of a jovial. Just reminds me a lot of Kelsey Webb. Anyway,
I love that.
Yeah, she got bright red hair, curly, and
is it curly like Kelsey's?
Kind of like hers. Yeah, when we first met her, and just
is there a theme song, On the Road Again? I just can't wait to get out there.
No, that's not the theme song, but they do have a theme song. It's not, but yeah, it's pretty cool. It's good competition and good to get to know them. But anyway, the ones that ended up, the final 3 are all living in Nashville. So they're all singer-songwriters.
Of course they are.
And, some of them have written hits for others. It's just that they haven't made it on their own.
Made it themselves, yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Yeah, cool. All right. What is that? What is it on?
It airs, and Keith Urban is actually the one that's running around with them. So they all sing, and then at the very end, Keith Urban sings.
You think that's what led to his and Nicole's divorce? He was on the road.
I don't know, but it was taped before all that came out, I'm sure, but I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not. But
we'll never know, because we're not their
friends.
But
anyway, yeah. So and they bring on, like, the brothers Osborne were on a special guest yesterday. They've had, what's his name, Davis. I mean, Blake was on about the first 3 shows. The coach, kind of the house mom, is Gretchen Wilson. So she's the one that's actually taking care of him.
Redneck woman.
Yeah. Hey, a good listen.
Tell me.
And I didn't know this, but on Tucker Carlson's podcast.
Okay.
Check out the episodes. There was a recent episode, December 1st, with John Rich of Big and Rich.
Oh, right on.
And there was an episode prior to that, which I haven't found that one, obviously a couple months before. But that's very impactful for a couple of reasons. Number one, it was impactful to hear his success story and how many number 1 songs he has written versus been a part of and performing. But he found Gretchen working as a bartender in a bar and heard her singing and said, "Man, you got a great voice. We need to get in the studio and let me write you a few songs." 17 million records sold thereafter. That's her success story and his success story.
Did he write all those hits of hers?
Yeah, a lot of them. He said he's got more that he's written for others that he can't even count over and above what he's written for himself.
That's wild.
So
that's what's wild about country music and the songwriters there is just well, I think it's a lot of musicians that don't actually write their own music, but yeah,
he's big in he has recently, well, I say recently, it's a great story, it's a great faith story. He's on to talk about just what even the episode was. It's kind of a segue from the first taping, whenever that was, into this taping. But he's written a handful of hits. He no longer is a part of Nashville music scene, meaning he doesn't have a record label, nobody in the industry. He's kind of privateering his own work, and he's privateering his own work out of his belief in what's right and a belief in what mission at this point in his life is, and that is to be significant. That the things that he creates needs to be more significant than just ride a horse, get a cowboy. And it's very interesting in hearing, for a guy that never went to college and jumped out on the road at age 18, even though he had a full ride scholarship at Belmont University, a voice scholarship is what it was, and jumped on the road at 18 and started teaming up with a bunch of guys from Texas. And I didn't even know this, but that's where the band Lone Star came from. And so he wrote his first number one hit while he was, and numerous ones for the band Lone Star. Anyway, good story. Better yet, I've got to get it to Todd, because this son of a gun knows his freaking. I mean, he has his knowledge of the Bible that's kind of the biggest thing, is just trying to interpret, and his fear of we are really kind of dooming ourselves here, and we're getting close to what the book of Revelation, which John wrote when he was in hiatus and imprisonment, but he's the only apostle that didn't die. I mean, he's the only apostle that wasn't killed. Anyway.
All right.
So anyway, good thing. Listen to the song Revelation, and he's got about 5 that he's brought out on his own that have just been kind of spot on and making lots of waves and pissing everybody off.
Oh, there you go. Wouldn't be the right side if he wasn't pissing somebody off, right?
Right, and he's gotten big into just this whole social media. The stalkers on.
I've heard about
stalkers on the kids.
I've heard about this social media thing.
Of his? No, you've heard about social media. Yeah, no. Anyway, yeah, he's become very involved with.
No, it's wild, Dad. To your point of the social media about child predators on social media, I think is what you're
correct
going with. And yes,
that's where I'm going.
Yes, it's
came about from his son who had an agent in his school, and his wife had attended it, and he got involved with it. So he's actually been running around on these bugs. He got involved with trying to get anything that he could do to help out on that. But anyway, that's a good story as well. So
on the podcast, though.
On the podcast, yes.
On a pod. All right.
He talks about it, on how he got involved in that, and just how impactful he's been behind getting that out in the open.
It's crazy.
He said you can't expect these people that work for the government to know how to market and push anything, so that's why he got involved.
Well, no. Yeah.
And making a quick little, turning the presentation into a YouTube video. It got pummeled and 9 million hits in a matter of first couple of weeks. So
right. Well, speaking of podcast episodes, this is our third one for the month of December, which, as our longtime listeners know, we only get 2 of these a year typically, where we have a 3-week month. So we're dropping an extra episode this month in December. Going to be wrapping up the month of December when this airs, and just short of the New Year's holiday. So I guess just a quick update on what's happening over here in our neck of the woods leading up to Christmas. And yeah, just it's wild. It's wild that we're days away from the big holiday and days away from entering into a new year. So I'm just still sitting in a big state of disbelief, Dad. I don't know where you're at, but this year went by super fast and the months gone by even faster, and just kind of trying to slow it down a bit. Lots been going on in the family. Lots of good stuff, lots of hard stuff. Just it's been a fucking trip the last couple of months. So I'm just hanging on and trying to get through. Trying to get through this. Trying to get through right now.
Yeah, like you say, it is. It's the 16th and 14 or 15 days we got left, so we're halfway through December, and that will go quicker than the first 5 days with holidays. And you're right. It's I always make the claim: the older we get, the faster it seems like time seems to
Yeah,
pass by. And
100%.
I don't know. I'm not sure why that occurs, but I'm sure there is some sort of an explanation for it. But
I'm with you. I'd love to hear somebody break that down. I'd love to hear a
yeah,
scientist talk about that. That'd be a great.
you always thought it went by quick when you were always busy. You're always pushing for your goals and getting your goals. And first quarter was gone, second quarter was gone, fourth quarter
Yeah.
was on you, and it was over and done. And that's been kind of the scenario for many, many years. But I mean, I feel like from my perspective, I'm not involved so much in day to day operations each and every day, but it seems like I'm still busy and time travels. You wake up, you get behind your computer, you get your day, you go do what you need to do. And the next thing you know, you're going to bed and waking up and doing it over.
Rinse and repeat, they say. Yeah, it's wild. And then you add, this phase of life for me, it's the days are busy at work, the nights are busy with life, and then yeah, you just add on a couple hours of sleep and you do it all over again. So it's pretty crazy. And I'm trying to really I got all my shopping done last week. Chris gave me a hard time. He said, I thought you said you were done shopping. I go, yeah, I'm done buying, but because he goes, there's packages showing up here every day. And I go, well,
Hmm.
I'm done buying the gifts, but they're still showing up. And, it's
Yeah, it
like, well,
takes a few days. It
how'd that
takes a few
budget how'd
days.
that budget go? I'm like, I honestly have no idea. So therefore, I don't know
Yeah.
that we can call it a budget. But so my goal is to just go in. I shouldn't say we have to. We are headed to Pittsburgh on Thursday for a little quick, pre-Christmas hockey tournament. Months ago, I was like, "Oh, that could be fun," and now I'm like, "This is really just aggressive timing." So we head out to be gone for the weekend leading up till Christmas, which is it's okay. Reese put the hard stop. Like, I'm not going. I don't want to go. I don't want to miss school on Friday, so it'll just be the three of us, and she'll hang back here with friends and family. But anyways, it's just like really my goal was to try to really just enjoy the season this year, not worry about checking all these boxes of all these things that you should do, and nothing against those people out there that do all those things, that check all those boxes, but I just kind of said my goal is to hit a point where I can just be relaxing, spend the holiday days off just relaxing and enjoying time with my family and my kids with nothing to do. So that's just all what I am in search of, and that's the goal for me, to log off on December 3rd and have Wednesday, Thursday. I took Friday off, the 26th, so I can have a long weekend and just enjoy the time with family and try to enjoy the season. In terms of the things we've done, we haven't done anything. I said, "Oh, let's go to Longwood Gardens again this year. We haven't gone up there. They do the awesome lights." I was like, "Let's do that this year." That's not going to happen. Cookie making, probably not going to happen, but that's
No,
okay. Like, I mean, I don't know that it needs to.
Suzanne bakes cookies every Wednesday
Well,
and Tuesday when her tutor students show up. So we always always know we got cookies when they show up. But did you see that little orb kind of land on my head and implant this knowledge that just kind of came into my mind?
What? Tell
Do you know
me.
what
I don't know what you're talking about right now.
you know what an orb is?
What? I do. I didn't see one flying. I don't know if anyone
Well,
else
you don't.
sees.
You just you have to look at the film, and you can kind of see the glow of the light come over and kind of
All
maybe
right. Well,
halo it, and it drops
tell
in.
me what Halo has brought you. What did it bring you?
Well, I finally figured out why time traveled so fast. I
Well,
think
tell
I've got
me.
it figured out. Well, think about every weekend you've got something to do. So the point that makes time travel fast is you wake up in the morning and you're running from sun up to sundown. You don't
Yeah.
know which way is up, what to do other than you're just trying to get through the day. You're out and about, you're running errands, you're back at your desk, you're working, and when it's all said and done, it's over in a flash.
Yeah.
So, and then when you travel on the weekends, that weekend's gone. So that week didn't even really occur because you didn't have any downtime to just sit around and do nothing and
Very
bake
little
cookies.
downtime. Yeah. And
That's
and
that's that's
yeah.
kind of it, I think.
So you know what? You're right. I can do cookies this year, Dad. I'll do them on Christmas Eve. I'm
Yeah, or
gonna
do them on
now when I
Christmas Day.
let me tell you something. When I say I bake cookies, let me tell you the type of cookies the Edwards family does. They are the prepackaged. Open up the plastic,
That's what we
throw
do.
throw them on a pan, 350 for 15 minutes, and you know what? They're awesome.
Yeah.
I will give so much credit to my sister-in-law. She does the cookie making with my nieces and my nephew, and it's every year I'm like, man, Haley is just killing it. Like she's making these cookies with the cookie cutters and she's decorating. And so one year, I don't think I haven't ever told you this. I said, I'm doing this. I'm gonna get some cookie cutters. And by God, I'm gonna make some damn Christmas cookies and have some frosting. We're gonna do this.
And that's a
And
good point.
let me tell you
You
what
need to
happened,
do
Dad.
that.
Well, let me
What?
tell you what happened. It did not work out well because I did something wrong because when I cut my dough for my cookies with my cookie cutters, they all expanded out and they didn't fluff up. Like, the candy cane was like a blob and the snowman. I'm not good at these things. So that is why I just said, I'm just going to buy these pre-packaged cookies and throw them on the pan and cook them. They taste every bit as good, and that's what I think we'll do again this year.
I don't think you have the patience for that kind of stuff. I don't think you couldn't be good. It's just that you don't have the
Yeah.
patience for it. Because
Yeah.
it doesn't take anything it just takes time and time that you don't have. Now, that's one thing
Well,
that
you're
Haley is a
right. You're
master
right.
of.
You're
She,
right.
she can get shit done in a heartbeat. I mean,
Well,
she's constantly
she's a
moving.
good she's a very good planner.
Yep.
And what I have found is I can be a good planner.
Well, you
I
told
would
me you
not
were.
well, if I have to be, I am. But if it's like for work, yes. For like a have to, yes. If it's like making cookies on a Saturday, like, cause I don't have to do that. I could do that, but I don't have to do it. And I tend to be one of these people that excel more in a situation where it's like, I have to do it, or I need to do it, or I should do it. Yeah.
Well, I think by your nature, you tend to operate better in a hurried environment.
100%. I perform very well under pressure, under time constraints.
Yeah.
I often
Yeah.
actually find that I do very well in a high stress situation.
Alerty. Yeah. Well, there were lots of gingerbread houses already made over there when I was there at Shane's last weekend. So it was and again, the kids' Christmas trees were up in their rooms. You know who outdoes Christmas trees? I mean, Haley has Christmas
Haley is
trees.
beautiful.
Well, she
Her
definitely
trees
has
are
beautiful
beautiful.
trees.
Her trees are beautiful. Each kid has a tree in their room. And then the game room, not game room, that's not fair to say. Do they call it the game room
Yes,
or playroom? I don't know what they
playroom,
call it.
playroom.
The playroom has a Christmas tree, and then the downstairs has a beautiful. They're beautiful trees. I mean, my sister-in-law look at the
Kills
birthday
it.
party. Look at the birthday party she throws. I
Yeah, I
mean,
don't know.
Tilly's last birthday party was just phenomenal. I mean, just phenomenal. And it's just that was my comment when Haley posted the pictures. I said, "Sister, this one might be your best." Like it was so creative. And what seals it though is That Tilly, I mean, I love both of my nieces and my nephew. I love them equally, but that Tilly, she is just special, that child.
Yep.
Haley posted the pictures and her smiling at her birthday party, that smile, she's just like, I mean, who wouldn't plan a birthday party for that child? She is just a delight, an absolute delight. I love her.
Yep. Yeah. We had a busy weekend, but anyway,
I think I told you this when we were in town for the wedding, and it was me and Chris in our car, and we had the girls. So we had Reese and Landry and Tilly, and we were driving. It may have been driving to your house for the ceremony, and Tilly wanted to listen to music, and she loves that Benson Boone, Beautiful Things. She loves that song. And so we put it on. She said, Aunt Jamie, will you play that song? I said, yeah. And Chris, I had heard her do this earlier in the weekend, but Chris had not yet. So I kind of looked over at him and I was like, you just wait for this. You just wait. And so the song comes on and she's in the back seat with that, her little 5-year-old voice. And he says, he sings at those beautiful, beautiful things, please. He like wails. And she's in that back seat just wailing and hitting those notes. I mean, Chris looks at me and he goes, all right. He goes, and tell me if you get this comment. He goes, we can reverse it.
We can reverse it.
Do you know what he means by that?
No.
All right. Well, Tilly is the third child. We only have 2 children. Chris had a vasectomy, and he just looks at me and goes, all right, he goes, we can reverse it. And I said, oh, honey, I go, we would never get one like that. And he goes, you're right. Our third one would be an asshole. But and it's just, she just never fails to just captivate. But he looked right at me. He's like, all right, we can reverse it. And I'm like, we won't get one of those. Anyways, I digress. But I don't even know how I got there. But yeah, we're headed into the holidays and all the things.
The cold weather came right on time too. It was freaking 9 degrees and 3 below with the wind chill over the weekend there.
Did you guys get any snow this weekend? We got 6 inches of snow. 6 inches.
That's what I heard. Christmas. 6 inches.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was just cold, and it was cold when we were having to get out. The other days we could have hunkered down, and it was pretty moderate. But when we had to go to Branson for the Nutcracker presentation, it was the coldest day, and up and at it. So.
Well, Mom did tell me that. She said, "Poor Suzanne, she was just cold the whole time."
I hear her say that. The first thing is every time she wakes up, every time she gets in bed, man, it's cold. And she said, feel my hands. And last night when she let me feel her hands, it was like grabbing a bucket of ice cubes.
Yeah.
And I said, you need to go to the doctor and figure that out. I don't know if there's
a circulation problem. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And her feet are warmer than her hands. But I said, honey, no wonder. But I said, you could have put on a pair of gloves.
I said,
and a pair of socks.
I said,
just put on some more clothes.
We'd always tease Dominic when he first moved up here. He'd always go, I'd be like, fuck, it's cold. He constantly cold. And we would just say, well, put a hat on your head or put some gloves on your hands, So I said, I said, well, Mom, did Suzanne have a hat? And she said, well, she finally did put a hat on her head. I go, well, you should have told her, put a hat on your head because if your head's warm, it goes a long way to making the rest of we've learned that with hockey. Like I travel with a hat everywhere I go when I'm in hockey season. Cause if my head's warm, I have found it helps keep everything else feeling okay.
Oh yeah. I went out on my walks last week when it was cold. And I put on a toboggan hat, and a wool hat and that, of course,
hell yeah.
Baseball hats will work when it's warm, keeping your head warm, but I put that thing on and I was just one happy camper. I got heated up, hotted up, sweated it out. It didn't take much to get going. She did put that hat on, but it was so funny. She says, I just don't want to put this hat on. And I said, well, why not? She goes,
she's worried about her hair, wasn't she?
I didn't bring any dryer sheets. And I said, what do you use those for? Well, when you get static in your hair, you can use that dryer sheet and your hair won't be flying everywhere.
knew it. I go, Mom, I said, I bet Suzanne was she didn't want to put a hat on her head because of her hair. And she goes, I don't know. And I was like, I bet you. A lot of women are that way. They don't want to mess up their hair, you know. Now, if you're like me and you're rocking the 7 days since you've washed it style, which is what I'm got going on right now, you don't worry about it as much.
Well, yeah. I think the only people that worry about that is the people that are concerned. But I know that's and she did put it on because it was too freaking cold. But
Well, it does get cold there in old Missouri for sure. It does get cold.
it
That's the
does.
truth, Ruth.
And as usual, it was on the go full time Friday.
That's what Mom said. She said it was just busy. You guys had a full schedule, she said.
Full schedule. We stopped at Gilbo's on Thursday on the way through. Had a great time and hit them for $2 margarita night there at the taco joint. That was fun. And you talk about Christmas trees. Carol has more Christmas trees than Haley.
Really?
Oh man, I'm telling you, I've never seen a house total Christmas like that.
Oh,
And
love
I
that.
guess I've never been there. I mean, every room has a tree.
Oh, I
Some
love
have
that.
two.
Oh, wow.
So
I
she
wonder how
worked hard
soon
to get
she
it all
starts
out
decor-
before we got there. Yeah, well, she wasn't totally
Okay.
done. She said I did the best I could do, but I still got more to go.
Well, now
So,
do Cody and Courtney come into town with the boys for that so that they've got
well,
to, right?
I'm guessing they do at some point in time.
Yeah.
Whether it's
Yeah.
I'm sure they go back and forth. But in Cody's old room, there's his trees in there. There was a tree in our room. I mean, every room had a tree. Every
Everyone's got a
doorknob
tree.
had something hanging on it, whether it was
Oh.
whether it was an elf or just a piece of Christmas
Christmas
paraphernalia
cheer,
hanging
Dad.
over
Just a
every
piece of
knob.
Christmas cheer.
Cabinets,
Christmas
it was
cheer.
amazing. It looked like a store. It really did.
Well, that's
Very
amazing.
cool.
I do love it. Mom does a great job here decorating. You can't see she's got her, even with everything going on with right here right now. Mom got all the Christmas up, the trees up, and
She even got the reindeer up, she told me.
by herself.
I know. She had to go. She said the
Which,
hardest part was
man,
going to Lowe's
my
or Home
God.
Depot and getting the what I said it was just a tent steak, I'm sure. But she
Well,
got
I
the
had
steaks
well,
to
I
hold
had
it down.
I had steaks. I don't know why she didn't ask me. I have great actually yard steaks for that very purpose, but
She was
it's,
missing
I
three.
I felt terrible because I said, I'll get over here and I'll get it done. I'll help you out. And I got them up here. Chris and I brought them up over Thanksgiving from the basement storage room, but we couldn't find the light, the connector to connect them to the lights, the power cable. I said,
Gotcha.
I can't. I told Pop, I said, I can't, it's not here. I can't find them. So he was all upset about that. And
Well,
I'm like,
did
Mom,
they find the lights?
they found the lights to connect them. So
Got it.
I said, all right, I'll get over here. Well, Dad, again, it's like all good intentions. Again, I said, Mom, I'll get there. I'll do it. So it's just, life is just ridiculous right now. As a matter of fact, wait till you get my Christmas card because I was going through, my website I like to use for my Christmas cards, looking for what design did I want to do. And the perfect card came up. It
The perfect
says
one?
the perfect card design
Mhm.
came up and it says it's a busy, crazy kind of or like absolute wonderful life. And that's the card. Like, yeah, it's a crazy, busy, wonderful life. And you'll get the card, but I was like, if this sums up my life this year, it's this card. So I picked it and it's navy. And Chris was like, it's navy. I go, I know, but like I color coordinated what we were going to wear. So the navy worked. I said, I like it. And anyways, it suited and it summed up this year. And my point being, mom got the reindeer up by herself. And by God, Dad, I was so proud of her. And
Yeah.
I said, you know what, Mom? This just shows you can do these things. You can do these things. But yeah, it looks great. But the house looks great. And yeah, it's just I do love Christmas. I love this time of year. This year is a little hard, and it's just making me really just be. I'm just feeling very grateful for the family we have, and the life that we have. So missing everybody a little bit. It's one of those things
Yeah.
where I do wish we all were closer together because I just wish that, I wish we could see you and Suzanne and, missing, you know, missing Stu and, my brother and my sister. It's just,
Yeah, Shane's got a birthday coming up on Friday too.
yeah, that's right. I haven't got that card in the mail. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah, he's gonna
Yeah.
be he'll be 46 this year. No, 47. No, 46. How
No,
old is he gonna be?
46.
46, because
46.
I'll be 45. Yeah. That's wild. He's on the
That
downward
is.
slope.
Yeah, he is.
Well,
He's almost
well,
4 years and we'll be celebrating 50.
we'll have to do something big for that.
That's right. That's right.
We'll have to start planning that now. Sorry, I got emotional about that. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we should do something fun on everybody's 50th. I don't know. We started that when us four were, and we've
Yeah.
got our 50th annuals. You know, it was going every 2 years. So we all had a 50th birthday party and got a photo album to prove it. So
I love that idea. All right, well, let's start. It'll be here before we know it, as we've spent the last 10 minutes talking about. So we'll get on that.
yeah,
Man.
4 years go quicker than that last 10 minutes.
Um,
But you're right. We need to do a better job of that as the kids are up and grown and easier to travel and things like that. We should try to do that. We should try to be better about doing those kind of things together.
And now that my kids are definitely, I'm going to say earmuffs to anyone that may be listening that have small children around you. This is your warning. My kids no longer believe in Santa Claus. So Christmas is a little different in our house, and that's okay. But like now I'm all about, when can we move to this where I would like to be in a place of spending Christmas, like doing things, like having an experience. So that's what we should move into, is like, hey, let's go somewhere as a family. Let's go do something. Let's spend time together, having an experience rather than, and don't get me wrong, my kids still want gifts. So I'm not going to like get away not getting them anything, but maybe it's like, yeah, you get them a couple of things, but the investment is the time, the money to go somewhere. Like that's what Chris and I really want to get to, is where we start doing things like that and having experiences together as a family. And whoever wants to come would be great. So
well, that's what I told Shane I was going to do. I was just going to give them a wad full of money for the DISNEY trip. Yeah.
Yeah. I know that's what Mom's doing. And she was like, is actually, I think as much as it pained her to not like pick something out, she's like, it was really great this year to do that. So yeah, that's awesome. But I don't know. I feel a little out of sorts here. I kind of went off the plan, Dad, a little bit, but
it's okay. Plan's just a plan, and will continue to be a plan until it's executed.
That's right.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, I guess I just wanted to, maybe I will jump into to share what is some news for us as a couple and as a pod. We're going to be taking a little bit of a hiatus, a break here on formal episodes, as you and I keep saying, but taking a break from 2 Clicks. And I'll take some of that on as just right now. Life is crazy. Life is busy. I've been thinking about this so much over the last few weeks, knowing that this was going to be our last episode we record for a while. And, just all the feelings I'm having about that. And overall, just so grateful and happy that we did this. And I don't want to say this as like there's any finality to it, because maybe I'm hoping there isn't, but for now, it's just overall a sense of like a lot of pride and joy of what this experience brought me and us in our relationship, Yeah.
And
it was, I think, I was thinking back of things, things I learned and things we've talked about and things we've shared, and just so ultimately just so grateful for that. And I was coming up with this idea to put that in a position for each other where we were kind of forced to think back on things and think about stories we knew the other didn't know, and things we wanted each other to learn about one another. As we talked about, you and I are so close now through everything we've been through, but we are still in a position of being separated by physical locations. And in this world we live in today, that's not as much of a challenge as it was 35, 40 years ago, but still not as we would love it to be. Still wish you were closer. I can say that having a commitment to sit down here with you, what was for the longest time every other Monday night
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, was a great thing to see on my calendar each week. Yeah, I'm just I'm very, very proud and very grateful for 2 Clicks and a Pod.
Yeah, no doubt. It's been a, and that's one of the things that kind of put me in a tailspin when we first started talking about that, and you brought it forward, and I said, well, oh my gosh, just as I felt like we were in a groove, and maybe groove made it a little bit lazy, or just in the preparation, but the host that we kind of had hosting some guests has been a big part of it, and just have met and brought back good people that have been a part of our lives, others that haven't, and just some of my favorite episodes of the ones that we were less familiar with, and just how impactful
Yeah.
that was on me. But I'm fearful more so because, as you said, it was a calendar moment each and every other week, to where we knew that even though we may not have been in touch with one another, there was always the opportunity for the hour long or hour and a half long or hour and 45-minute long taping of catching up and just visiting, and father-daughter, contact and discussion. It did one thing. It made us get in a chair, made us communicate, made us talk, and it's brought our relationship to an elevated level that it's never been, is how I feel about it.
Yeah.
And I will definitely miss that time, and don't, because it is hard to get a hold of one another without, sadly, saying a freaking scheduled invite on a calendar. So
Yeah.
I hope that's not the case. It's just a good time to catch up, and that's something that I would put forward for anyone that really wanted to try to. I know that this probably seems formal, or a lot of formality to it, but really it's still, you and me, father, daughter, Kevin and Jamie, just having a conversation over the period of time that brings forward laughter and heartache and some tears and some hard discussions. But anybody that really wanted to get to know one another, whether it's a new relationship or an old relationship, doing something like this on the record, for the record, and it will never disappear, is pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
And it reminds me a lot of the book, Brian, the book The Storyteller, or who's the co-founder of Magic, Imagine. Anyway, has done he got in the movie business. I'm trying to think of the producer, but anyway, he's got a book out. Great book. Just, if you want to learn about somebody, you have a conversation, and conversations leads to good things, is how I go about it. And we've had a great conversation. I go back to Todd Brim a couple weeks ago, and how cool that was, and in re-listening to that just was very, very impactful. And I know he had a blast doing it.
Ron Howard.
And his partner is Brian.
Yes. Brian Grazer.
Grazer.
I just Googled it. I didn't know that.
Check out his book. It's fun. It's a fun read.
Well,
anyway, it is sad.
I love your point about, we always said that we hoped that this pod would help to, encourage others that maybe went through their own hardships as a relationship, whatever relationship that may be, as a reminder that if you want to and you care enough, that relationships can always, if there's issues, if there's conflict, if there's problems, they can always get better through time, commitment, communication. And I hope what we have shared with others over these 40 plus episodes is an example of that, no, life is not perfect and relationships are not perfect. But if you love a person enough and you're willing to be patient and kind and understanding and forgive, probably most importantly, forgive, that you can, any relationship can become better, can grow and be what you want it to be, I guess. I'll leave it at that. But I am just, yeah, very grateful for the relationship that we have. And it's not perfect. And I'm not perfect, God knows. And I think that's what's great about us is we don't pretend to be. We don't pretend to say that we are, but we never have to pretend to be real and authentic. I think it's one of your best traits. I think it's one of my best traits, and I get that from you, and I'm very grateful for that we have what I think is an authentic relationship, and I hope that for others that are looking for it. I encourage you just to don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to share how you feel. Don't be afraid to hurt somebody's feelings in the pursuit of bridging gaps, mending relationships, learning, growing. Don't be afraid to push buttons or hurt feelings because your feelings are your feelings. Your reality is your reality, and they're all equal and important.
Yeah, I think just being not so, well, you know me, I'm never a formal, I think is lack of formality probably describes me pretty close, the best in many, many instances. But when you think about it, it's easy to get yourself worked up and in a tizzy over some slip of the tongue or something that's been said or a comment that's been made. And you just got to let that shed, off your shoulders like, water shedding off the hood of a car. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
it can't, when you hold on to those kind of things, it will never go away as long as you hold on to that. And we've had that conversation off record a bunch of times, just in other situations where, you just, if you're one to hold a grudge, the grudge will always be there. And there's a way to let it go. And the way to let it go is just to talk about it and figure out what the issue is and what caused the issue. And to hold on to something for ages and ages and years and still hold that back against someone else and try to deny a relationship, which we have in our current situation with others. I mean, to let it go, or better yet, at least approach it and be honest enough and candid enough to have a discussion about it. Because as we all experience, we're not going to be here forever. And when it's time to say goodbye, that opportunity may not be at your disposal to be able to say goodbye. And
Yeah.
that's a shame. That is a true shame. Keith Holloway reached out to me. We were talking last week. We were talking on Football Saturday with, interstate rivalries, and he's a Georgia Tech fan. And anyway, he reached out to me and we had a good conversation, and we said, well, let's catch up. And so he sent me a text last night. He said, hey, I was thinking about you and was going to give you a call and then didn't get an answer, but we'll talk today. And I just want to let you know I love you. I said, well, that means a lot. Keith and I have not, it's one of those things where
Yeah.
kind of need to have a schedule to talk every other day. But when we talk, it just brings back such good memories and a good friendship. And I was impressed by the fact that he needed that. And I know I said that to him, I think the other night, just miss you and love you. And just, it'd be good to see each other. And he says, we need to make a trip to Nashville. So I'm hoping maybe that's what he's calling about.
And so you can
He's
hug his
trying to
neck. That's
hug
right.
his neck,
Hug his
because
neck.
he's had some physical battles as well in his lifetime. So it'd be good to see him. Because,
Yeah.
like I say, you never know. Never know when's the last goodbye.
You don't. And even when goodbye is nearing, as I have learned, over these last few weeks, is what's interesting is just, when you're at that place, your energy to even make those connections for a last goodbye, it's not there. And I was just literally just talking to Mom about it before you and I jumped on here tonight, with Dom. And
Mm-hmm.
just, it's like the energy to even make those connections, knowing that things are not looking great or just they're not there. So yeah, don't let time pass you by. And the saying life is too short, I think it gets sold as a cliche way too often. But the truth is that there is no greater truth that yeah, life is short and you just don't know. So if our relationship has taught me anything in my 44 years of life, it's that, you don't take for granted the people that matter. Don't take for granted um, the love of your father. Don't be stubborn to apologize, and better yet, don't be afraid to ask for an apology if that's what you need
Hmm.
to find your way back to a person. So sorry, I'm just very emotional, but I love you, Dad. I love
I
you,
love
and
you.
I love this, and God, I love us.
Well, I was going to say, in your struggles and everything, and we talk about relationships, it's so easy to dismiss an action or a thought or a move to correct. It's easier to say, well, I'm not going to worry about it. I know I hurt her feelings. I'm just not going to worry about it. It's not a big deal. She knew what I meant. That doesn't solve the issue, doesn't solve the problem. And it takes a lot of courage and being a bigger and a better person to just struggle through it, to say, as you just said, hey, Dad, that really hurt my feelings. I need an apology. And you're not going to get what you don't ask for.
Yeah,
So, and better yet, when you hurt someone and just to continue dismissing it and dismissing it, I need to make a phone call. I really need to apologize. And you dismiss it, and you dismiss it. Goes back to the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's not going to happen until you just jump on
just
it
do it.
and take
Yeah.
it and own it and do it. And people have a hard time. People have a hard time sometimes taking a step forward rather than just standing still. And we're all guilty of it. So I strongly suggest relationships remain intact when people take steps forward. They don't remain intact when you stand still.
Yeah, I
And
love
even,
that.
it just isn't going to happen. And relationships do take work. We all know that. It's not,
100%.
it's not, and that's the thing that I think is the fear most about not being on the calendar every other week is, well,
Well,
when am I going to get to talk to
well,
you?
I
And better
will.
yet, when I say talk to you, because it's just you and me,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
try to talk to people on the phone, and there's always distractions in the background, and kids are yelling, or
Oh God,
Reese is wanting something, and there's no
constantly.
real intimacy in that conversation,
Well,
and I mean intimacy of just connection.
connection.
So
Well, I can
yeah,
promise you this. I can promise you this. I am not going to go, not every 2 weeks talking to you. So while we may not be pushing out a new episode with a guest or whatever, we can be here and we can, like we said, we can record ourselves talking. And I guess
yeah.
that segues well to just, don't forget about us. As Def Leppard says, don't forget about us and we won't forget about you. We still plan to push out content, whether that be Dad and I, we're sitting down and catching up and sharing that. But we are still going to utilize the resources we have, the tools we have. Just taking a little break from formal episodes, formal pods being launched for now, and knowing that. Keep giving us your comments and through our posts, through our engagement that we put out there, and we'll keep it coming. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be the last people hear from us, but just be a little different for a little while.
Well, yeah, I think it's like you say, it's a hiatus, it's a takeaway. Like you said, it's just being honest, it's probably more of the financial side of things. I'm just going to throw it out there. These things aren't cheap to produce. And if there is anybody out there that wants to volunteer and be a producer and come on board, and Kelsey will love this one, but we'll just go ahead and put a one ad out there. Hey, we need,
Yeah.
we need a social media director and we need somebody to help push reels out there. It's very time consuming, but yeah, we need to take a break and just take a respite on that note. I think you brought up a good point. It's not that we've got the equipment, we've got the platform, we've got the YouTube channel. We can sit here and still record. We can still record episodes 1 and 2
Yeah.
every month. We just don't need to post them.
Yeah.
Keep them wait. We're kind of in between production. We've got season 10
That's
coming on.
that's
And
right.
you're sitting around waiting on Landman for 9 months, waiting on them to get their
That's
gears
right. It's
moving
so
again.
different.
So
It's so different.
it's no
Yeah.
different. So anyway, it's been fun, and again, I know we'll be back. I can't imagine not wanting to get on and take a few minutes, and maybe if we do that, then we won't be talking for an hour and a half each time. We can just talk for 20 minutes and
That's right.
and commit. We can tape a 20-minute episode, a 20-minute pod. Huh? Just go 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think we could do that.
Anyway,
Well,
there's plenty going on. The world's wild and crazy. There's lots to talk about.
Plenty to talk about. Well, I just want to thank everyone who's listened, those that listen from day 1, those that listen from day 50, whatever it may be. I just thank everybody. I thank our very much dedicated friends and family, and the support that we've gotten from those people. That's what helped keep us going. All of my friends that would catch the latest episode and, oh, I loved this. I loved when Kevo said this. I love that. It's just like, it all meant so much. It all means so much. And we very much appreciate it. So just thank you to everybody. Thank you to everyone who listened. And as we like to say, you just got to keep clicking and keep connecting.
Don't be shy.
Because we're not.
Adios.
Thank you for tuning in today. With so many podcasts out there, we are grateful you chose to spend your time with us.
And we'd love to hear from you. So send us your questions, comments, and feedback to info@twoclicksinapod.com, and we might feature your message in a future episode.
Also, don't forget to follow us on social and head over to our YouTube channel where you can watch the full episode live and in living color. You can find us at 2 Clicks in a Pod. That's 2, as in the number, clicks in a pod.
Well, James, until next time, love you.
Love you too, Daddy.